Number one, the big question. Would you hand your keys to a complete stranger and just trust they won't destroy your home? No contract, no security guard, no backup plan. Just trust them? Because right now, all over the world, thousands of people are doing exactly that. They're swapping homes with people they've never met, or they're letting people stay in their homes while they're not there and receiving guest points in return. They're sleeping in each other's beds, they're using each other's kitchens, living in each other's space, and somehow it works. But the real question is, should it work? Number two, the fear everyone has. And let's be honest, your gut reaction is probably the same as ours was at the start. When I set up the listing without telling my wife, she said there is no chance in hell we're doing that. She said they're going to trash our house. She said people are going to steal stuff. And she said, what happens if they don't want to leave? And to be fair, I started to get a little bit worried when I started thinking about it like that. Because we've all seen the horror stories. Airbnb guests throwing massive parties, homes left in absolute chaos, and owners dealing with thousands of dollars of damage. So if that could happen in a paid system, then why would a system based purely on trust be any different? In fact, it should be worse, because this isn't rental property. In some cases, this is your home, your personal space, your belongings, your memories. So the idea of handing that over to a stranger, well, that just seems insane. And yet, there are people like us who don't just do it once, we do it over and over and over. So what do they know that most people don't? Okay, so let's break down how this actually works. Because from the outside, it sounds reckless, but underneath, it's surprisingly structured. Most home exchange platforms operate on one core principle: trust backed by accountability. And here's how that plays out in real life. 1. Verified profiles. This isn't anonymous. Every member has a real profile, photos of their home, personal details, and ID verification. You're dealing with a real person with a reputation, and a reputation is very important. Number 2, reviews are everything. This is the backbone of the system. After every exchange, both parties leave reviews. So before you even consider an exchange, everyone can see how someone treated previous homes, whether they followed the rules, and what kind of guest they were. And one bad review, that sticks, and everyone knows it. Number 3, mutual trust changes behaviour. Here's where it gets interesting. In many cases, you're not just hosting someone, they're staying in your home while you're staying in theirs. So there's a built-in balance. And on this platform, while you're respecting their home, they're respecting your home. And that creates a completely different dynamic than your standard Airbnb exchange. Number 4, communication before commitment. This isn't a last-minute booking. Most exchanges involve conversations, questions, clarifying expectations. And by the time you agree on an exchange, and you've done your homework, you've looked at their reviews, their past stays, they don't feel like a stranger anymore. And that's the difference. Number 5, clear expectations reduce risk. The house rules for each home are known up front. Things like cleaning standards when you're departing the property, pet care, sometimes there's a cat to feed, access to certain areas, sometimes you've got to water the plants. So there are no surprises. And that clarity removes a lot of the risk that people imagine there is. 4, why it actually works. 3 key insights. 1, no money changes everything. People behave differently without money. This is the biggest mindset shift. When money is involved, people act like customers. And customers quite often feel entitled. But in home exchange, there is no transaction. So people don't behave like customers. They behave like guests. And guests do not want to disrespect someone's home. 2, effort filters people. The barrier to entry filters out the wrong people. This isn't a one-click system. To even participate, you need a home, a complete profile, time to communicate, willingness to host. And that effort, that acts as a filter. It weeds out people looking for quick, careless stays. 3. Trust compounds over time. Trust builds momentum. And I'll admit, the first exchange, well, that's a little bit scary. No question. But once you do it the first time, everything changes. You simply realise that most people are genuinely respectful. Homes are often left spotless. Sometimes they're better than when you left them. The fear you had at the start was just mostly in your head. And from there, trust compounds. Chapter 5. Our real experience. Now here's the part that most people don't expect. We're not just talking about this in theory. We've actually done it 25 times now. That's 25 different exchanges, 25 different homes, or 25 different people or families that have come to our property. And across those 25 exchanges, not one issue. No damage, no theft, no horror stories, nothing. In fact, it's quite the opposite. We've walked into some homes and then they're cleaner than a hotel. They've got little gifts for you on the table. And we've had some leave our own apartment and they've left us a beautiful note, gifts of chocolate, and one even left us a book. And every single time there's been this underlying sense of respect because both sides understand what's at stake. Because this isn't just a place to stay, it's someone's life. And when you experience that firsthand, your entire perspective shifts. You stop seeing it as risky and you start seeing it as one of the most underrated ways to travel the world free of charge. Number 6, from doubt to conviction. And like I said, at the beginning, we definitely had some doubts. We questioned everything. Is this safe? Are we being naive? Are we definitely going to regret this? But after 25 exchanges, the bigger question now is, why wouldn't everyone be doing this? Because when it works, and it has done so for us every time, it unlocks something really powerful. You're not just saving money, and depending on the length of stay, you're staying in real homes. You're living like a local, and you're getting to experience way more things than you ever would. Those experiences are paid for by the money you're saving on a free accommodation. And here's the proof of just that. Because in July and August this year, we're going to be spending 50 nights across England and Ireland with free accommodation from guest points we've received by having people stay in our apartment. That's 50 nights of accommodation, completely free. And based on typical accommodation prices, that's a saving of over $20,000 on that trip alone. And currently, because we've had so many people staying at our apartment recently, we've got another 14,000 points, which is another 70 nights anywhere in the world for free. And most importantly, you're connecting with people, not as customers, but as humans. Number 7, try it yourself. And if you're sitting there still thinking this sounds a little bit crazy, don't forget, that's normal. We were completely the same. But here's what we suggest. Don't try to understand it from the outside because it won't make sense. Instead, just start small. Try one exchange, even a local exchange, and that'll build your confidence. Because once you experience it for yourself, that fear disappears faster than you think. And if you want to learn more and see exactly how we've done so many exchanges without an issue, please subscribe, because the more videos you watch, the more you'll understand how we do it. And if you'd like to watch the video where I show you the 11 homes that we're going to spend our 50 nights of free accommodation all across England and Ireland, check it out here.